Alright, hey everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Sorry I didn't have a video last Saturday out. I had made a bunch of videos with the intention to edit them and upload them, but then kind of got sidetracked with work, as well as it's been really hot lately. It's kind of hard to boot up my computer to do this work because it keeps overheating. I definitely need to get some kind of cooling pad. But yeah, so then I was like, you know what? I'm going to edit some of these videos and put them out. And then something happened. So I had made a few videos regarding Paralives. About a year ago, or sometime last year, I had put out a video reacting to Paralives. And at the time, my thoughts and feelings were, I didn't really love the aesthetic of the game, but I did really like the ideas, the concepts, and also overall it's an indie game and I love indie games. At the time though, I do think I was a little harsh on it. I was kind of like, probably not going to play it. But since then, a bunch of new stuff had been released and I'd been seeing stuff on Twitter and YouTube, and I got really invested in the project, and my opinion kind of shifted from, yeah, I don't love the style, but I still had became very invested in the idea of playing it until recently. But you know, I also had never been really part of the Paralives fan crowd. I'd always kind of stayed away from it. I didn't mind them and they were very informative about the game, but I hated that every once in a while I would stumble upon someone who was like, The Sims is awful, Paralives is the future, and I was like, listen, I believe in healthy competition, so I think both of them can exist in this world. As well as also, to be realistic, Paralives is going to be an indie game, and very rarely do indie games have the ability to really compete with the big, like, AAA entertainment companies. But with that said, I was still interested, and I had done a whole video reacting to Maggie, the release of the Parafolk, and I had some thoughts and feelings that I really wanted to get out there, because on one hand I wanted, hoping, not that very small channel, so low chance, I was hoping that maybe the four members working on the game might see it and take some of that criticism. Essentially, my criticism was I really liked the aesthetic of the Parafolk, but I don't think they look like they belong in the environment. They just don't really look like they belong in the world of Paralives. But of course, the game is still heavily in development, so like so much can change. And then some stuff broke on Twitter the other day. At first, I didn't want to make a video of this. I'm just pulling up the tweets now, because it revolves Roxanne, who was a member of the Paralives team and it was recently let go. And I didn't want to bring it up because I don't want to perpetuate any misinformation, as well as also I don't want to like further cause this to be a stain on her and her resume. From what I understand, like I said, I never watched any of like the streams or the Discord chats that they did with their fans, so I don't really know anything about her, Alex, or anyone else on the team very well. I only know about from what I've seen the game put forward, and you know, overall, like everyone on that team must be fairly creative and talented, so I'd love to see them to go on and do bigger things, or even just other projects. But so that's part of the reason I didn't want to talk about these tweets at first, but then because of Alex's response, well, I guess it's not Alex's response, it was posted to his Twitter, but it was from all the three other members as well. So, and I feel like I can't really address that and why I'm no longer invested in this game unless I talk about these tweets. I do want to say I don't have any issues with anyone on this team. I don't have any issues with this game. If this game comes out, there's a chance I might play it, but as of right now in this moment in time, I've decided that I'm not going to, and from this point on, I don't want to discuss Paralives on this channel anymore. Which is really upsetting because, like I said, I literally filmed like 3 videos all about Paralives and kind of talking about like my change in perspective on it. But now I'm like, you know what? But yeah, so Roxanne, he pretty much sent out these tweets talking about how she claims Alex fired her. I want to put she claims, allegedly. We don't really know what happened. In Alex's letter, he talks about it being him and the two other members' decision to let her go. But yeah, Roxanne talks about how Alex fired her, and under her reasoning, she says, in this one tweet, Alex is firing me because it upset him how I attacked him by saying I'm stressed about the lack of long-time planning and how it's hurtful how people are targeting Leia and I for design choices he made, or dare I talk about my birds on the Discord calls. That one I don't get. Like, I've seen people on Twitter talking how they loved her and her birds, and I guess her birds were noisy during the Discord. They're birds. They're gonna be noisy. But yeah, she seems to be putting a lot of blame on Alex, and she's talking about how she felt like Alex never really appreciated her. In these tweets, also, one thing that really, to me, stuck out, not so much her accusing him of things, but rather that essentially everything we've seen so far, all the sneak peeks, is all that's done with the game. Where is it? Because, like, that tweet's the one that really, I was like, excuse me? She said, I guess I shouldn't be surprised since this comes from someone who keeps delaying the actual live model game design and barely develops anything outside of what's shown in videos. That, to me, I was like, that's interesting. I don't really know much about game development, so I don't know where they should be in their development stage. I will say, at this point, their Patreon allegedly brings in, like, thousands of dollars a month. So that, on one hand, I'm a little like, okay, so a lot of money's coming in, but it doesn't seem to be paying off. But also, I don't really know enough about game development to talk about it in a very, I guess, nuanced way. So I'm not going to really address those. But those were something that kind of stuck out to me. I was like, that is an interesting thing to point out. And I feel like she wouldn't have pointed that out if it didn't feel like an issue for her. But ultimately, what I wanted to touch upon with these tweets was I read them. And I was like, wow, that it really sucks that it seems to be this business partnership and potentially even kind of like personal close friendship has ended so poorly. But to be honest, that happens in life. Sometimes people just are not compatible. It's just as simple as that. Sometimes it is like that. I mean, sometimes there are bigger issues, and there are issues to deal with, like workplace abuse and being someone purposely hurting you. But when I was first reading these tweets, to me, it kind of felt like she was fired, and she felt like it was a long time coming because her and Alex never got along. I was like, that sucks. And I wish her the best. And I will say these tweets probably weren't super professional, but they did highlight some issues with the game and with what's going on with the development that kind of concerned me. But overall, I was still like, you know, I'm still excited to see what this game, when this game comes out, I'm still excited to see it. And there's a lot of people saying that they really wanted Alex and the rest of the team to respond. I, however, was a little like, if they're gonna respond, I know it's not going to be good. If you don't have a PR team and you respond to tweets like that, it never ends good. Just saying. People don't realize how much they need a PR team, especially in a situation like this. But Alex, onto his Twitter, posted, "Hello, today we have decided to not, or yesterday we decided not to renew Roxanne's contract. She will no longer be working on Paralives. This does not affect the development of the game. She had not ended her 6 months probation period yet, and we decided to stop working with her. Over the last months, we had very important issues working with her, especially on the communication side. Many opportunities and warnings were given, but it did not improve. There was a toxic atmosphere. She often yelled during meetings when she did not agree with the rest of the team. She also did not take any constructive she did not take any constructive feedback, reacting badly every time. Because of these issues, we sent her a very detailed and respectful email explaining the reasons for the layoff and thanking her for all that she did for the project. The layoff email also proposed her to have a proper meeting later, and I suggested meeting today, but she did not take the opportunity. We do not want to publicly announce the reasons she was leaving the team because we wanted to part ways peacefully. We do not want to give her a bad reputation in the industry so she can find a new job easily. But after she posted her now deleted tweets, we have no other choice but to reveal this. Again, Roxanne's layoff did not affect the development of Paralives, as we will be recruiting new people to the team very soon. We appreciate everything she did for the team and for the project, and she will still be remembered for her quality work. Her name, of course, will still be on the credits in the game, blah, 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 blah. I have a lot of problems with this letter. This essentially is why I'm deciding not to support Paralives and why I'm not going to be covering it on my channel anymore. I found this letter to be extremely inappropriate, in bad favor, and just overall, just the only word I can really think of is inappropriate. I will agree, Roxanne going to Twitter and kind of dragging Alex and the project, I thought was a little inappropriate, but I do think she illuminated some actual issues that, of course, he didn't address here, and I don't think he needed to address here. Or I don't know if it's him or if it's all three, because it's signed Alex, Leah, and Christine. I don't know how much they participated in writing this, because this was posted on Alex's Twitter. I did not check their Twitters. I don't know if they have Twitters. I tried to limit who I follow on Twitter and look for who on Twitter, because there's already so much bad shit on Twitter. Because like I said before, I think sometimes people just aren't compatible to work together. I have plenty of friends who I love dearly, who I know I would never work on a project with. That's just life. That's how it goes. But this line saying there was a toxic atmosphere after pretty much talking about all of her issues, saying how literally says, over the past month, we had important issues working with her, especially on communication side, and the opportunities and warnings were given and did not improve. There was a toxic atmosphere. It seems to be putting a lot of the blame on her, which, yeah, a lot of the blame could be on her. But that's not a good look to post on your Twitter, trying to get people to still support your game and still believe that this is a project worth funding. I just thought it was inappropriate. It's very childish. She often yelled during meetings when she did not agree with the rest of the team. Honestly, that's a valid criticism. Also, she was not able to take constructive feedback, which is also funny. She accused him of the same thing. Like I said, I don't know. I don't work with these people. I don't know them personally. But I think in a formal letter like this, when you're reaching out to your fans, talking about issues like that is inappropriate. Especially afterwards, where you talk about, we didn't want it to come to this. We still wanted her to have opportunity to get a job, but we had no choice. No, you did have a choice. I'm just putting that out there. You had a choice. You chose to do this, and to act like you had no choice is inappropriate. And I'm not trying to invalidate Alex, Leah, or Christine's feelings. They may have felt like they had no choice, but they still did, and they still chose to do this. And yeah, their feelings are valid, but just because your feelings are valid does not mean your actions are valid, or that the actions you choose to make are fair or right. I think a lot of people, we're living in this day and age where we often hear, your feelings are valid, which, yes, your feelings are always valid, but that does not mean your actions are right, and that doesn't always mean your feelings are coming from a good place or a valid place. I don't know. This idea that, like, we had no choice but other than to reveal this is very inappropriate. I don't believe it. I believe they did this out of malice because Roxanne went onto Twitter and defamed Alex in the game. A lot of people who've been following this project, like Matt from Pixelate, have said that they will not be covering this situation, and I actually don't blame them at all. I almost personally didn't do this video. I kind of was like, I don't want to add more negativity to the fuel, but After reading Alex, Leah, and Michelle's response that was posted to Alex's Twitter, I'm just not interested in supporting this project, which is really upsetting because I literally had went from being like, I love the concept, don't love the aesthetic, to like actually becoming a little bit more on board with it, to the point where I literally had filmed 3 videos where I was like, I actually want to play this game. But like I said, the response that was posted to Alex's Twitter really left a bad taste in my mouth. And at this moment in time, I'm choosing not to support it. I understand where Matt from Pixelate is coming from, saying that he doesn't want to cover this, and a lot of people on Twitter were like, thank you for respecting their privacy. I'm just going to say there really isn't any privacy. They posted this all on Twitter for us all to see because I think they knew the power of Twitter. I respect the opinions, however, of other people in the gaming community, especially like kind of like life simulator games, choosing not to cover this issue, especially for those who are still invested in the game. And I don't think they're bad people for still being invested in it. For a lot of them, I understand why, and I still am really looking forward there to being more life simulators that can either compete or offer some kind of edge that the Sims team can't offer. I'm just a little upset that I, at this point, can't look towards Paralives for that. I'm still hoping that this game does well. I don't want it to flop. If it does ever get released, and when that does happen, I hope it does well, and I hope people love it, and I hope it gets positive feedback. I hope they're able to deliver on their promises of having seasons in Cats and Dogs in the base game. But at this moment in time, I just don't see myself being able to support it. And I feel bad. I feel bad saying that because I don't want it to imply that anyone who will support it is immoral or a bad person. It's just I personally can't. Morals are different for everyone, and if you're able to support this, I don't think any lower of you. I don't think you're a bad person. And I think also if you side with the team here and actually think what they posted is appropriate, I don't want to say I don't want you to leave this video with me thinking you're a bad person, because I can understand why. There's a lot of things in that letter that I do think were valid. If like there are some valid criticism, I don't think posting them onto Twitter for everyone to see was very appropriate. I also don't think firing someone over an email is appropriate, even if you offer like, come on and we can set up a time to meet and talk about, like, no, that's still extremely inappropriate. I'm sorry, if you fire someone not in person and then offer to meet with them and then they don't want to meet with you and you're surprised, I think that just reflects more on you. So it tells me more about you as a person than it does about that person. So that's my thoughts and opinions that no one asked for on this matter. Like I said, I'm still, hopefully the game does well. Hopefully it succeeds. Just know I will not be supporting it anytime soon. And who knows, maybe that'll change. Maybe they'll post something, talk about something, or do something that for me makes it feel like I can look past that that letter. And then for anyone who's also thinking about creating their own game, just think about that as what your PR presence can do, your public relations. Because that was bad. That was messy. That was not appropriate, in my opinion. And I think it reviews very poorly on the whole team and the game. But hopefully the game does well. Hopefully everyone who's excited for it gets it and they love it. Just know at this point in time, I do not care about it and will not be covering it from here on out. Thank you for understanding. And hopefully you guys can be civil in the comments if anyone comments on this. I'm not trying to cause drama. I'm trying not to cause also a rift between simmers and people who play Paralives. Like, I don't care about that drama. That's part of the reason I haven't really covered a lot of it, is I hate a lot of that Paralives versus it bothers me. And But yeah, so that's it. That's my hot take.